Morning. So today we're going to handle some try to fix a clear coat issue on a spot to see how this works, and I'll try to get as much of it as I can, see how it goes. So here's what we're going to fix today. Camera issues. So what I've done, I'm taking this 80 grit, feathering the edges where the clear coat's coming up, getting any loose clear coat. You see there I'm going through the paint. It's pretty thin, so you want to be careful. That's down to the gel coat underneath. You can see right here I've got little bubbles. That's where the clear coat's wanting to come up but hasn't yet. So we'll take those down, get that clear coat off of there so we don't have any issues. I'm not applying no pressure. I'm just pretty much the weight of the block, keeping it wet. And if you look, you can see where it's wet, you can't see the clear coat issues no more. So it doesn't take much. You'll see a color, a little bit of color discoloration. That's because the clear coat's still on part of it, and it's not, and you lose the gloss from the missing clear coat. I can feel some roughness there still. Rub your hand over it. Just gently rub over it, clean it up. When you can't feel it no more, or just to that point, you can stop. Come down a little bit past it, make sure you don't have any loose clear coat that's not showing good. And I'll come back over this with some 400, and that will really smooth it out. This 80 will knock off any loose clear coats that you're not seeing too. So puts a few scratches in it, but nothing the 400 won't take it out. I'm not really digging into the paint. I'm just pretty much like I'm washing the car with sandpaper. But in my view, I can't make it worse because it was pretty bad in the first place. So like I said, this isn't a show car. But after 14 years baking in the sun, it's pretty much caused some issues. So I'm gonna turn off the camera here and do a little of this by hand, cleaning it up. And come back over with some 400. See these little white spots? They're going away now. That's where it was coming up. So I'm taking away, I'm getting those level. Those are gone. And I don't feel any more roughness. I got a couple of rough spots there. I'm gonna stop the video here and finish this up by hand, but you get the idea. And I'm gonna go back over it with 400. And I'll show you where we're at after that. Stay tuned. Okay, so the sun's coming out now. It's really hot. This is Texas. Okay, this is after going over the section with 80 grit to get all the really bad spots out, and then went back over it with 400. And what you're seeing is the clear coat. This white is all the clear coat that's been sanded off. It's dried in the sun. But what you'll notice is when it gets wet, it doesn't look bad. And that's what it'll look like with your clear coat on. You can see where I burned through the paint a little bit. It was kind of light. Fixing some spots. So at first shot, it looks kind of bad, but really it isn't. It's perfectly smooth. I can run my hand over it and feel no rough spots, no edges. I did this with the 400. As I was sanding it, and I could feel little edges. I kept lightly sanding it till they went away. So this is our first step before painting it. Then we'll wash it down, get it good and clean. I'm double checking for high edges. I feel none, so it is really nice. More water there. So we'll take the Dupli-Color, put 3 or 4 coats over these bad spots where the color went through. And we'll continue on. I'd love to do this in one filming, but it's hot out here, guys. Welcome to Texas. Okay, there's one spot I want to fix. It's got a little, like a rock chip. So I'll sand that down, get that one out of there. I'm going over it really good. It's out in the sun, so I can really see the bad spots. But I'm feeling for any rough edges. And I'm looking for any little holes that I might have missed. And when it's wet, you can really see them. Just like a nice shiny paint job, they show up really good. And if I don't find any, got one right there we need to fix. We should have this panel done by the end of the day. Like I said, I could probably do it in about an hour, hour and a half. But it's too hot. And I don't want the metal. I don't want the body to be hot when I shoot it, so we're going to pull it into the shop over there so it cools down after I get it nice and clean. Go over it with a tack rag, some degreaser, make sure it's perfectly clean. Do a good few light coats of red to fix these burn throughs. Here's where I took a scratch out. Tape it off so just that panel is showing, and then we'll shoot it with some red, about 3 coats probably. We'll see how it covers. 10 to 15 minutes between each coat with a 50% overlap. Let that dry good for 10 or 15 minutes, and then start shooting some. I'll probably hold off on the clear because I want to do the clear at the same time we do the hood. I got some more work I want to do on the hood here. It got kind of dark last night and I couldn't do any more work on the hood. It's the biggest spot, and that 2K can of 2K clear will do a lot more than just this back panel. And I got like 6 cans of it, so we're going to get this panel prepped. I'll probably do this panel too here today. One thing you notice down in the bottom below the belt line, there's no clear coat coming up. It was all on top where the sun was hitting it. So really all we got to do is fix the top. I'm gonna get this whole side done here, and I'll get half this hood done, and we'll do them in one shoot, so the color blends good. It'll all be one color. The black trim on the bottom will helps to separate the work and blend it in good. And then I have a new gas tank coming, so this will be coming off this weekend. The back section, we'll do that while it's off. And then next we'll handle this side. This is what the other side looked like before I started. As you see, the door is pretty much the same as the other side. Someone looks like they tried to sand some out and got down to base. So we'll do the mirrors, get them all fixed up, So one step at a time. Like I said, this is not a show car, but it will look 100% better than it is now. And that really needs to take care of. Clean that up. I'll probably get a new one. I don't like that rust on there. It'll look kind of yucky with it after it gets all the paint fixed. So we'll check back in just a little bit. We're going to take another break out. You can only spend about 10 minutes out here in this heat, and stupid me wearing a black t-shirt. So a little piece at a time. Stand by. Okay, so we have got everything smooth, sanded down with 400. No more high spots. Everything's nice and smooth. You put water on this, you can run your hand across the whole thing. It's like glass. We have some Dupli-Color primer. We're going to be using that for areas that we got through, just to help smooth it out a little bit better. Then we have our matching 85 bright red, and I went over everything with a clean tack cloth. If you never want to use, when you get these out of the package, you want to open them all up. Make sure get all any oils and grease. I washed it down. In the previous clip, you've seen the residue all over it. I took some Dawn, a little bit of Dawn and some water, and gave this section a bath. The Dawn helps remove any grease and stuff like that. Don't use car wash. Most of that has some kind of a wax and leaves a residue to help your car shine. You want to make sure you get all the wax off and any residue, fingerprints, oil from your fingers. Dawn does that real well. It kind of, if you notice, it's kind of dull now. One that's from the 400 sanding, and I removed any wax and stuff on any parts I didn't get. I done a quick mask off of the area, mainly because everything else is going to be coming off anyway, so I'm not really worried about overspray. It's going to be repaint. This is the first section I'm doing. So like I said, the back fascia is coming off this weekend. I'll do that all when it's off the car. This door has to be redone anyway, so I'm not worried about overspray there. The sail panel here has to be redone there. Any overspray that gets on the glass, some cleaner will to take that off. So I'm not worried about overspray. I did tape up the antenna a little bit. It's going to have to be taken out anyway. It's got some rust on it, so I want to clean that up. So I'm not really worried about it there. We'll go with some scratch filler. If you notice, I'm not out in the hot sun anymore. I backed up into my shop area here where I store stuff. Out of the sun, out of the wind. We're going to test the fan pattern here. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're just going to go over this a little bit. I've been shaking this up about 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm cutting some time here. We're going to go over this. Still not the best, but we'll see what I do here in a second. We're going to go over this again anyway, so it's kind of runny. But we'll clean that up anyway. I just want to get that area taken up. I think I may try a new can. I don't like how this can's running. I've only got about 6 or 7 of these cans, so I've got plenty. So we're gonna let that dry for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then come back and go over it again with 400. See a couple spots I'm gonna fill in here. Yeah, it's thick, but it's sandable primer. It'll come back off. The can really sucks. That's okay. We'll give that about 10 minutes to dry, and I'll come back with some 400 again and get it all down, get all these big drips out of here that I didn't really want, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes. I want to make sure some of that the primer is thoroughly dried. About 5 minutes before this, I went over the spots that had the drips with some 80 grit, so they'd come down fast, just to get them close to where they're supposed to be. Now I'm going back over it, wet sanding with some 400, getting everything nice and smooth. You can see some of the low spots where the clear had come off. Let me get this wet so you can see here. See where the primer stayed back? That's perfectly smooth. But that's where some of the clear coat had come off, and the primer helped fill in some of the low spots in there. The scratch I had up here is gone. It filled that in. Took it down with 80 and come back with 400. Put a little primer in there. Did a little wet. I'm just doing light wet sanding. I'm not doing any pressure. I'm just getting it smooth. And said you don't have to take a lot of primer. I'm using a single sheet, folded in half, keeping it wet, and I can, as long as it's wet, I can feel any high spots as I rub across it. Like I said, I'm not pressing hard. I'm just gently rubbing it across it, and I can feel some high spots, like right in there, and now they're gone. I'm just going over this whole panel one more time with 400. Sorry, the camera angle here. That looks good. Where I taped off, it helped keep me from hitting any sides and running through the paint. But you can see that filled in real nice. It filled all where the clear coats peeled away. It brought it up to level. I can run my hand across it and it feels perfect. I mean, if I close my eyes, I can't feel any high spots, any low spots. And working in this shaded area really helps. It is hot in Texas. We never got none of the storms, thank goodness. It's a beautiful day outside, but it is hot. Not that bad not that bad over here in the shade, but okay. Now we got that done. I'm sorry, I don't know how much y'all got. Right now I'm wiping down with this, just some water and a little bit of Dawn. I mean, very little. I mean, just a little bit of Dawn. Get all the sanding dust off of it again. And I'm going to take it right back over there and rinse it down. And then we'll tack rag it again. And put some color on it. So it's looking good. I mean, these little scratches you're seeing, those are from the 400. The paint will fill those right in. You won't even see it. We'll put some paint over it, and then we're going to go back and tack rag it, and then we'll take some more 400 and color sand that down good so it's nice and even, and one step at a time. Be right back. Okay, and we're back. Washed off, cleaned up, retacked, tack rag. Been shaking this nice Dupli-Color for GM colors, bright red, matches the vet color. About 3 or 4 minutes. We're gonna lay some paint down. See what we can do with this. One light coat. You don't want to lay it on thick. Yeah, I'm going to do the whole trunk. 50% overlap. Got to go past your paint areas. Don't stop on the area. We're going to wait about 10 minutes between each coat. Like I said, this won't be a show car. But I sure hope it'll look a lot better than it did. Looked like it had leprosy or something. Said we're going to come back over this and wet sand it again. And it's pretty hot out here, so it'll dry pretty quick. Okay, let's let that set for about 10 minutes, flash itself off. You can already see it looks a lot better than that sun don't help. This is what we were working with before. This is what we're working with now. So as you can see, I still got another coat of paint or so, fix this up. But it looks a lot better. It's going to be dull. Your base coat is not a gloss finish. It's going to be a dull finish. You'll get the gloss when you come back with the clear coat. So we'll let that flash, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. It's been about 10-12 minutes. We're going to go back and touch up these spots that are missing paint. A little bit thicker coats on this time. You just wanted that flash to give this paint something to hang on to. Just for information, this is 1 can, so I'm gonna probably get this whole quarter panel in done with 1 can. No problem. You want to lay this coat a little bit on thick, not thick, not running. I mean, but as thick as you can without it running. You want to fill in some of them scratches. Then we'll come back and color sand this out so it blends in better. Get rid of all the little imperfections. It's laying down pretty good, even though it is kind of hot out here. This isn't ultimate weather for painting a car, trust me. Especially by spray can. That's our second coat. You can see still a little bit of the primer coming through, or the discoloration of primer coming through there. We'll get that out of there on the next pass. Third coat should do it. 3 coats ought to wrap it up. So give me 10-15 minutes. Let this flash off. We'll be right back. Okay, back at it. It's been about 20 minutes. I got a phone call. And Last coat's dry on here. Looks uniform. Everything's hidden. Got a few imperfections. So I've got some 1200 here. We're just going to go over the whole thing with some 1200. Smooth this up a little bit. You know, had a couple little runs in it. I wanted to get out. And I put the last coat on there. Some kind of fisheye looking stuff that I didn't like, so that's okay. That's the steps. So we're going to give this a quick rundown with some 1500. I'm sorry, 1500, just to get some of the rough spots out, unevenness out. I'm not like I said, I'm not. This whole process, I'm not pressing hard. I'm literally letting the paper just lay in my hand and letting the sandpaper do its own thing. And at 1500, you're not taking off a whole lot. So, especially with 3 coats of paint on it, you're not going to take a lot off. But you can see, like, I don't know if you can see it. You can. There's some blotches right there where it looks like the paint dripped. But we'll fix that right up real fast. Good as new. This will help smooth that paint out a little bit too. So it'll shine a little bit better. It's all in the preparation. Still, what you're seeing here, you gotta remember, this is what you're looking at now compared to what it used to look like this. Well, you can't really see in that sun. Love the Texas sun. This is what we're coming from. This kind of damage. And that's with me peeling the edges off of it already. Our final rundown is looking damn good. We finally get the clear on it here in a little bit, next 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'll put it out here in this nice Texas sun. You can see how good this is coming out. Yeah, I'm just starting to make these videos, so I don't have a really good camera. I'm just using my phone. But people were asking how I did this before on my Camaros I used to do. So I thought I'd show them on the vet. That's good there. That looks good there. I don't see any more problems. It's really looking good. Okay. I don't see any more problems with her. Looks good and clean. All the little imperfections and fish eyes I seen, I took out. I see no color variations. All one color again. You can't even tell it was chipped. It was peeling off. Oh, more water. You can't even tell it was peeling off. So that's a good thing. So once again, we're going to move everything over to the other side of the shop. Rinse her down with some water. Give her a good tack ragging. Make sure she's good and dry. we're going to lay some clear. I'm figuring at least 3 coats and see how that comes out. Be right back. Okay, I'm over here just washed it out, and I wanted to get a good view of this. This is the original paint. I just washed it down with some clear water. You can see, you cannot see where the coating or the clear coat was coming up whatsoever. Still wet, but we'll take her back over to the end over there, other end. Tack it down, dry it off. Lay on some clear. Just for reference, throw your window up when you're hosing off the inside of the car. So, give me a couple of minutes, so get it back over there, dry it off, start laying down that clear coat. Okay, we're going for clear coat. We're using 2K. You only want to use 2K when you do this. The 1K will not fit to the sand. This is 2-part. You can see there's a little plug in the bottom. You shake it up for 2 minutes, and the little plug comes up here in the top of this cap. You put it down underneath there, and you pop it down on the ground, and then shake it for another 2 minutes. I shake it for 3. Let me get my hand out of the way. I shake it for 3 because it's got a hardener in it, and I want to make sure it's good and clear. So, again, we're going to start with a light coat. Give it about 5 minutes to flash, then come back with some heavier coats. The light coat is to give the following coat something to hold on to. So, see how this starts to look. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes, and I finished the first coat. We're going to go back with the second coat. We're going to make this coat a little bit heavier. Should pull out some more shine. Oh yeah, that shine's really coming through now. Starting to be able to see myself. Okay, second coat. Again, we'll give that about 10 minutes. And we'll put on a third coat. We'll call it a day. We will come back with some 1200, color sand it a bit, smooth it out. But I think we're almost done. We'll be back in a bit. One more time. And that's the finish. after about 30 minutes dry time. And right now, tank removal, next project. So we'll give this 24 hours to cure. Then we'll wet sand it, which is not a needed step, but we want it to be as glossy as possible. We'll come back with 1200 on it later. Clean it all up. But it looks beautiful. You can see the clouds in the skies. And we'll compare that to this. So for 1 can of Dupli-Color, about a 1/4 can of primer, and a can of Clearcoat, which I only used about half the can, and it's good for 2 weeks. I'll use it on another panel. We have one done. Questions, comments? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please like. Let us know what you think, or you have any questions. Thanks, guys.